Are we live? Yes, we're live. Hi, folks. You're with Tacitus today at your Pushback channel, and thank you for joining this radio live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about, or reference, I guess, the excellent work done by Project Veritas in exposing these radical activists posing as teachers or in the general sort of school administration in this case, the education system of the United States or various states within the United States. So I think, quite a few of you will have seen the recent one. I think it's from a school in New York where a woman is as I understand it, is employed as the director of student activities. I'm not really sure what that means, but it's a well-off school that has got big fees, and only well-to-do families could send their kids there. So it's a high school, or I think a primary and high school integrated, actually. So one assumes that that teacher or that student activities director is reasonably well paid. So based on the recording of an undercover Project Veritas journalist, she's skiting about and bragging about how she's bringing this leftist social justice type agenda into the school without the formal knowledge or consent of either the parents association, the school board, or indeed the school management. It's hard to believe the school would have employed someone like her in that role if they didn't secretly want her to be importing these socially divisive and destructive attitudes into the school. But that's another matter. Let's sort of looking at the woman in question. She's out on some, as I understand, at least out on some online dating forum, and she meets men there. So I assume she's hetero and maybe bi, but there's no question she's unattractive, sad, lonely, disturbed, fucked up, or all of the above, and so one imagines she struggles to maintain a relationship for any period of time. So the only thing she's got in her life is her job. So she's turned herself into this ideological crusader, fighting back against the man, leading the resistance. Now, somehow she just gravitates towards a rich, primarily white private school in an upmarket area and so on. Now, you think she'd have easily got work in some activist NGO, but somehow these people with those attitudes are being distributed and seeded and placed in all the areas where they're least wanted or desired. They're being placed in, white only or boys only schools, upmarket only, and so it's like they're being placed there as social justice warriors to undermine the social fabric of the area and bring in as many gay, lesbian, race, the trans, so the full battery of leftist propaganda. So they're trying to sort of insert it through the back door. Now, I don't believe she was hired without the approval of some people in the HR department at the school. I mean, here's this very butch-looking, angry woman with the butchy haircut, the nose ring, the tattoos. Very leftist views. I mean, you wouldn't have to dig more than a few sentences in to sort of get those leftist views. The look, the presentation, the attitude. I'd pick it within 30 seconds. Less. I'd pick it. But somehow the HR department in this very well-funded, very well-to-do school that's allegedly a bastion of conservatism. Somehow they hire someone like this. So I don't believe that was an accident. I also don't believe they didn't have many hundreds of candidates who would have been conservative and focused very much on the students, and rather than this woman of trying to import as much hysterical leftist ideology as she possibly can. Now she makes out that she's fighting back against the man, leading the resistance and so on. But if we look at sort of every institution in the US and the media, um, most school boards around the country, the teachers' unions definitely, and all sorts of other groups. They're more on her side than this woman. You're more on her side than you could ever sort of imagine. So this idea that she's part of the resistance is nonsense. They're trying to find the tiniest little pockets of conservatism and attack those and undermine them and chisel away at them. That's what they're doing. The same way that, by the way, that the activists will go around the whole city looking for that one baker who won't bake the cake for the gay wedding or the transphobic something or other. They've got to find the one and then take them to court and drag them through the court and try to utterly destroy and crush them. Yeah, the whole thing is a scam, and this is what these people are doing throughout the education system. Now, I would assume there are people inside that school that are sympathetic to the idea of destroying a conservative little area or a conservative little pocket, and that they're a meeting somewhere. Okay, let's get at these guys, and they try and come in as double agents in effect, and with the sole purpose of quietly and in background slowly chiseling away. And it's going to be a drag queen story hour here. It's going to be a transphobic a cheer squad there. It's going to be little bits here and there, and gradually. Would any of you students like to go to the trans activist flag waving or placard waving march tomorrow? Um, you can have the afternoon off. We won't penalise you in any way. That sort of thing. So get them to go there, or as I think she mentioned that. If they go, they get some slap on the wrist type detention, where they get another dose of leftist propaganda brought in by speakers that are supposedly doing for free, but are really being paid by some NGO in what's a very coordinated thing. But that's the goal, and I don't think I personally don't feel sorry for someone who does that. But there are people on the inside of that school who are supporting her and are keeping the agenda secret from parents and the school management. So I don't think there's any question of that at all. So really, all those people need to I think, be moved out of the school or any other school for that matter. So look, you're welcome to a job here, but your job is to educate the students. It's not to bring in your ideology. If you want to do this ideology, go and work in a government school or go and work for some crazy NGO, but don't bring it here. Now, if you don't like the conservatism that you believe exists here at this school, then find a job somewhere else. No one's forcing you to work here. But we're here for the revolution because all these conservatives are all fucking Nazis. And well, gee, if that's your attitude, then again, you shouldn't be working here. You should go somewhere else. And the HR policies in that school or any other school really need to be tightened up to make sure that activists don't come in with the sole purpose of spreading social and race and gender division in the school. Coming back to feel bad for them or something, kind of way I did. It's not that anything she did is acceptable or excusable or should be put up with in any sense in the school. Her I can't believe her job description or her contract of employment says, hey, we want you to be an activist, get as many lesbian story hours as you can. I just don't believe that. So she's contradicting and going against the very essence and purpose of her employment. But coming back, she's not an attractive woman, goodness me. And if she is straight, then I imagine getting laid would be a tough gig for someone like her. And she turns up for the amorous meeting with the so-called date, and she's barely got a lick of makeup on. You go wonder, what are you trying to do? Given her weight, she's wearing jeans that were less than flattering of her figure and so on. So you got to wonder how serious she is, whether she's her own worst enemy when it comes to trying to form relationships. I suspect she may be, but she's nonetheless one of the lost souls looking for love out there in the jungle, and doing, whether subconsciously or not, everything she can to make sure she won't ever find it. And you look at lost souls like that and think, you are so fucked up, and you just kind of feel bad for them. I don't know. I'd be interested in seeing your comments below, but whilst being unforgiving of her behaviour in the school, I kind of did feel bad for her in some way, and maybe my feelings misplaced in that regard. But again, I look forward to your comments below. You've been with Tacitus today, your Pushback channel, and thank you for listening.